Sometimes a tree will grow half as tall as it was at birth, and then decide that's enough. If a tree buries its roots as deep as it can, it will get all the food it can from the ground and grow as tall as nature will let it. Then it will look down at us as if to remind us of how we could change if we worked hard. It looks like every living thing on earth is trying to reach its full potential except people. People are the smartest living thing on earth. Why don't they try to reach their full potential? What's the point of stopping in the middle? What's stopping us from always trying to become the best versions of ourselves? Reason is easy to understand. God gave us the power to pick and choose. Some people are lucky enough to be able to choose. When it comes to making the most of our abilities and chances, however, the freedom to choose can turn into a curse instead of a gift. We pick to do a lot less than we can too often. We'd rather rest in the shade of a tree that is still trying to grow than try to reach the heights that it has reached. There are two clear options for each of us when we decide what to do with our lives. The first choice is to be less than we can be, to make less, to have less, to read and think less, to try less, and to follow through with our plans less. This choice will leave you with nothing in your life. Instead of a life full of exciting expectation, this choice leads to a life of being wary and shy. It's also possible to do everything, to be the best we can be, to earn as much as we can, to read as many books as we can, to give and share as much as we can, and to make and accomplish as much as we can. We can do something or not do it, be something or not be something, be everything or less, or do nothing. Expanding ourselves both up and down and side to side until we hit our full potential would be a good task, just like the tree. Why don't we do everything we can every second for as long as we can? Our main goal in life should be to make as much art as our skills, interests, and abilities allow. We will fail at this important job if we are happy doing less than we can. Results are the best way to see how far people have come. A talk, an argument, or a reason are not. Results are. If we don't get the results we think we should, we need to work on being better today than we were yesterday. People who are the most helpful to themselves and others will always get the best benefits. The results are the fruit of our labors from the past because of the person they have become. The farmer can't expect a big crop in the fall if he only planted a few seeds in the spring. That being said, someone who has only done a little in the past shouldn't expect big things to happen now either. No matter how much someone wants or needs something, they will always get what they work for. People who rest in the spring will not reap in the fall. For those who were smart enough to seize an earlier chance, results are the benefits they deserve. There will be no prize if the chance is missed. The chance to do something in the spring is short. It comes and goes quickly, and there is no time to look back. We can only take advantage of opportunities when they come up, and those who act smartly when they do will get all the results they want. The things we do now affect how things will turn out in the future. Like a farmer who prepares the ground for planting, we need to get a good attitude. We need to come up with a new action, just like a farmer who cares for and feeds his crop to get rid of bugs and grow the seed. Finally, we need to commit ourselves to the work, to the daily activity, just like a farmer who takes care of his crops from dawn until dusk, looking forward to the harvest. There is nothing we can do to change the outcome if our hard work has led to an inadequate crop in the past. It doesn't matter how hungry we are. We can't change the past or ask nature to break its rules. Nature also won't let us ask the earth to help us make progress. We can only get ready for the next spring, which means another chance, and then sow, feed, and care for our crop as carefully as possible when it comes time, remembering the painful results of not doing so in the past. We should remember the results, but we shouldn't let them get the best of us. Their lesson should teach us, not make us sad. Different springs and crops happen to us over the course of our lives. Happiness in the future rarely comes from a single crop. Instead, it comes from a lot of different chances, some of which we take advantage of, and some of which we regrettably miss. Our happiness depends on how the things we do affect us over time. This is why it's so important to keep an eye on the results and study them. It's how we can get a sign that tells us what the future holds for us if we keep going in the same direction. If the current results are good, then the next crop will probably be just as good. If the current results aren't what we want, we need to look closely at all the things that may have pushed us in the wrong way, whether they were obvious or not. How are we going to measure our progress? There are several ways to figure out what the outcomes of our past attempts were. The first way is to look at what we own. Our homes, cars, bank accounts, businesses, friends, family ties, and all of our other physical and mental possessions can help us figure out how spiritually and materially we are growing. One part of our current value can be seen in our assets. It's enough to look at our assets to figure out how much we're worth. This doesn't mean that a list of our actual possessions is the only way to figure out how much we're worth. There are different kinds of wealth, but the most important ones in life are love, health, happiness, family, adventures, and friends. They will always be more important and valuable than anything we could buy. What we have gathered over the years, on the other hand, can be a good reflection of our past efforts and a sign of what the future holds. In the event that we have a lot of money and other things, we are likely well on our way to reaching the goal of financial freedom. The same goes for if our list of assets isn't very long. Even after working hard for 10, 20 or 30 years, we might need to drastically change how much we do to get better results. In order to make the most of the chances that life gives us, we might need to improve our skills, knowledge, or ability to notice things. Some changes might need to be made to how we think about money and how we spend it. Right now is the time to change the future if we are unhappy with what we have done so far. Things will always be the same if we don't change who we are. If the same person plants the same seed, they will always get the same crop. To change the crop, you might need to either change the seed, the dirt, or most likely the person who plants the seeds. The gardener might be stuck on a plan that won't work. The gardener might think it's better to put the seed in the summer than in the spring. As winter comes on and the planter's needs grow, we might see him standing at the edge of the empty field and blaming the things that kept the ground from producing the promised crop. At this point, the gardener should be able to measure and figure out why the land didn't go along with his bad plan. But instead of figuring out what to do, the farmer complains and makes another list of reasons why he is in this bad situation. Everything we have is the result of the things we did and thought about in the past. We gain knowledge or lack of it, and the future will repay us based on what we did in the past. Time is needed to plan, work, measure, spend, share, improve what we've done in the past, and learn more. With each passing year, the level of our work will get better because we keep collecting these seeds. Seeing who we have become is another important way to judge how well we did. How did we get these guys to come to us? Do people we work with and live near respect us? Do our actions match what we believe? Do we try to see things from someone else's point of view? Do we pay attention to our kids? Do we show our parents, lovers and friends how much we appreciate them? When we do work, do we act in an honest and moral way? Are we known for always being honest? Are we happy with the person we've become and who we are? The things that happened to us in the past, how we dealt with them, and the choices we made or didn't make over the years have all shaped who we are today. We need to change who we are if we don't like who we have become. We need to make changes. One important thing to remember about life is that we attract what we want by being the person we have become. The main goal of our plan for a better future should be to become more like who we are now. To change things, we must first change ourselves if we are unhappy with the progress we have made so far. Everything we have in life, both things we can see and things we can't, comes from who we are. To have a good life, we need to become more of who we are now so that we can attract more of what we already have. We have everything we need because it's part of who we are. If we lost everything tomorrow, we could easily get it back. In the event that we haven't changed, we will bring back everything we lost. We will always get the same results if we use our skills in the same way, have the same attitude, work hard, and follow the same plan. These basic facts should make you happy and scared at the same time. That we can start to change ourselves whenever we want brings us joy. These changes will bring even more good things into our lives. These worries come from the fact that we will stay in the same situation forever if we don't make the necessary changes. We will never be able to turn our mistakes into habits or our dreams into clear plans and smart, constant action. We will always live in the same house, drive the same car, have the same friends, and go through the same pain, frustration, and disorders that we have always gone through because we have not changed. The results will always be predictable because they are always based on the person we are becoming. We need more than just doing more to find the answer. Becoming more of who we are is the real answer. This way, our better ability will be a part of everything we do. In this way, making ourselves better makes life better. We can't get more before we become more. This is one of the most important things. Music. You should attract success instead of trying to get it. The worth of a person is what brings good things into our lives. To get more, we have to become more valuable. To get more, we have to become more valuable. To make ourselves more valuable, we should always be looking for new ways to do so. Some ways to do this are to control our passions, be disciplined, plan our activities, work hard, invest a lot of our results wisely, have a balanced attitude, be constantly active, learn new things, read a lot, and come up with a sensible personal philosophy. We shouldn't be aiming for more important goals, but for more worth. Our main goal should be to work on ourselves more than anything else. If we pay close attention to our beliefs, how we act, and what we do, we can positively shape the person we are becoming and gain more of what we already have. First we change, then we draw. First we grow as people, then we move forward in the material world. Most people, though, seem to have this plan backwards. They think that if they had more money, they would be a better person. Life isn't meant to be this way. We don't change into something else when we get more. It just makes us stronger. People who can't save a few pennies when their income is low will never be able to save big amounts of money for the future. It takes self-control to keep a few coins in a box, as it does to start a savings account or take care of a stock. There is only so much we can talk about our progress and so much we can promise about what we will do in the future. As soon as we make a promise, we need to keep it and do what we say we will do. If we don't get results within an acceptable amount of time, we risk losing other people's trust and our own self-respect. People who used to believe in us might not believe in us anymore, and at the end of the day, we will only have our empty claims. It's better to avoid this kind of loss. The day we find out what we've lost is the day we hurt from being ignored. That's the day when we finally feel the terrible effects of lying. Because we don't want to put things off or break promises, we will read the books, make plans, and make good use of our time. We'll put some of the money we earn into investments, work on our skills, take classes to learn new ones, and hang out with smarter people to improve our chances of success. We are going to be honest, work on our communication skills, and pay attention to all the other qualities that will help us be successful. We will be lazy and let time slip through our fingers like grains of sand if we don't do this. We will slowly lose our self-confidence, the respect of others, and maybe even the few valuable things and relationships that our hard work in the past has brought into our lives. We will continue to wait passively as our hopes and dreams turn into memories and regret. We shouldn't know that the good things in life are always waiting for us, though. We can definitely dream again, just like we could dream the first time. We can believe again, just like we could before. We still have the power to change everything, no matter what is going on right now. To be successful, you have to take 1,000 steps, and the first one is to read one book or finally keep a promise. It starts with waking up our spirit, which is done through thoughts of what the future might hold. We can get up and start living a new, better life whenever we want. But we shouldn't expect results just because we started the activity. Our future benefits will come from continuing to work hard and take the right steps. There is no doubt that developing our skills is very important if we want to make real progress and do better work. It takes someone 30 days to cut down a tree with a hammer. He can reach the same goal in 30 minutes if he learns how to use an axe. Adding new skills to what you already know makes work and life easier. Talent is both getting better at the things we already know how to do and learning new things we can do. It's the result of study that was driven by interest, the effect of using creativity and thought in smart ways to come up with new ways to do things. The improved result is what you get when you raise the standard level. Talent is being able to understand what needs to be done, and you can do that by studying carefully and paying close attention. Having talent is what it takes to get good at something. It means having full faith in our ability to master the finer points of our work. It's the way that people learn. There is a lot of knowledge behind it, and people are always working to make things better. People who want to be happy and successful must first learn as many talents as they can, then put them all together to make one special talent. Anything is possible when we use all of our skills and gifts to their fullest. Imagination is the first thing that helps us get better results, and it's also a big part of how much we can change our results. In 1960, there were no technology ways for people to go into space. A man, however, got out of his spaceship and walked on the moon when he was 10 years old. A voice told scientists that they had to do whatever it took to get the US to send a man to the moon by the end of that decade. This was the start of the amazing process that made the dream come true. The nation's heart was stirred by that challenge, and the idea of what could be accomplished in the future was set in people's minds. With that brave dare, the impossible became possible. It is possible for someone to get rich. Naturally, the unique mix of desire, planning, hard work, and persistence has a powerful effect. There is no question that the success recipe will work. The question is whether the person will know how to make it work. That's the thing we don't know. That is what we all have to deal with. Everyone has the power to change who they are and become someone they want to be. As long as we have the guts to believe in it, no dream is out of reach. We can get everything we want if we pay the price. It's easy to solve a money problem, but it's also easy not to solve it. If we're not too far from the prizes, we should start by taking an honest look at our progress. If the answers aren't there, something is wrong. Not getting results is a sign of a problem that needs to be looked into and fixed. Ignoring the signs will only make the cause worse. Problems rarely go away on their own. In fact, if you ignore them, they get worse. People whose efforts have not yielded good outcomes often have a lengthy list of reasons to explain their lack of progress. The things on the list are not just reasons for these people, they are facts. They blame the business or their boss, the government, the fees, their parents, their teachers, or the system. Sometimes they blame the country, and if things get really bad, they might even blame God. People who are ready to put in the work to do the basics that are needed to be successful are the ones who are lacking, not the chances. You need to check the data often. We can't wait 10 years to see if we need to change our plan, our theory, our attitude, or the way we're doing things. Carelessness and waiting too long can cost a lot. Regular checks must be made on progress. Checking key indicators in all parts of our lives at the right time is a sign of careful thought. The more we want to go, the more often we should check our results. We should check on progress more often as the journey gets longer. Changing by a few degrees won't make a big difference if the distance is only a city block. But if we're looking at a faraway star, 1 degree of change can send us miles away from our goal. It will be harder to get back on track if we wait too long to realize we made a mistake. One more important thing is that as time goes on, we tend to lose the wish to go back to the right path. It's possible to give up on the little we've done and the hopes of what we could have done. We need to make progress that can be measured in a fair amount of time. Making growth that can be measured in a fair amount of time is the hardest thing in life. Our lives have meaning and value because of this. We can't use the way things are now as an excuse for not making real progress if we want to take on this task with excitement and hope. If things get in the way of our success, that should make us work harder, not less. The problems we face are meant to test how strong our resolve is. We will look for answers if we really want to. We are actually moving forward faster when we use the power of imagination and put in more effort to solve every problem that comes up. It might take us twice as long to reach our goal if there are no hurdles to keep us interested. When the road is clear, we usually walk along it quietly, knowing that we can reach our goal. If the road is full of obstacles, we will find more creativity, skill, and strength within ourselves than we thought we had. We feel better about ourselves after overcoming these hurdles, which makes us move faster toward our sure success. Our goals might be too small if we can't see real progress in a fair amount of time. It's hard to get excited and interested in small benefits. Another problem could be that we don't really believe in our dreams, or that we don't think we can make them come true. When we face problems, we don't see them as challenges. Instead, we see them as chances to avoid conflict. This is why we need to keep track of our success. There must be something wrong with our goals or the way we are carrying out our plans if we are not making measured progress in a fair amount of time. The things that happen to us all. In the end, the things that happen to us all are the same all through our lives. Some people use them as an excuse for why they haven't been successful, while others use them to change and push themselves to do even better. We all have chances and problems, times when we're sick and times when we're healthy. Storms touch everyone, rich and poor. Things that happen to everyone else too. The only thing that changes is how we think about those things. We make our lives better or worse by the choices we make about what we do with the things that happen. We all want things to happen when we want or need them to, but the law of sowing and reaping says that we have to plant things in the spring in order to harvest them in the fall. We need to help the plants get stronger in the summer so that they can survive the hungry bugs and weeds that come up in the spring. We have to keep doing what we're doing, even though we have needs right now. There is no question that the crop will come, but it will come at the right time. There is a time for everything. There is a right time for everything under heaven. The birth and death of babies, the planting and harvesting of crops, the laughing and crying, the mourning and the dancing, the loving and the hating, the war and the peace. Results don't depend on what you need. They depend on how hard you work and how much you do. It should not take too long for the effects to show up if we have done what we need to do. We need to understand that ignoring problems makes them worse in the future. Some trials are good because they help us reach our goals, but we don't have to choose to have them in our lives. We will be somewhere in 10 years. The only question is where. We need to decide where we will be in 10 years. Life throws enough problems at us without us trying to make them happen. One way to make things easier in the future is to think about what will happen if we don't pay attention or act responsibly now. Every mistake we fix through focused work is a step toward future success. What should the benefit of being independent be in deciding what happens? People who want to live a good life shouldn't be happy if they only get what they can. When you do less than ideal, terrible things happen. It hurts our self-esteem and makes us feel less valuable as individuals. Doing less than we can always makes us feel bad about ourselves, makes us feel bad feelings, and leads to results that are depressing and upsetting. We feel bad when we don't do everything we can. Being guilty makes us worry, and worrying makes us question our worth. The next step is being less sure of yourself, and that completes the plan for failure. We don't do as much when we feel like we can't. When you do less, you get less done. Our mood gets worse as the effects get worse. Now the bad thing starts to happen, and our lives quickly get out of hand. And how this whole thing started. When we don't do as much as we could have, the weight of the things we haven't finished makes us lose faith in ourselves and in the chances for a better future. But there is a way out for people whose lives are stuck in this downward spiral. When we start to work on improving our mood, we make it easier for ourselves to act. Getting more done can help us reach new goals. These first results boost our confidence again, and as our confidence grows, we push ourselves to do new things that give us new results, that boost our attitude even more. All of a sudden, a life that was getting out of hand starts to move toward the force that will pull it into the future. Doing whatever it takes to change our attitude is the first step in this process, the beginning of growth and success for people. Being active is sometimes the best way to fix a bad mood. It's possible that we have a good mood and need to do something to show off our skills. Someone once said, "He who lets his attitude control his actions is weak, and he who forces his actions to control his thoughts is strong." Whether it's behavior or mood that sets you up for success, the first thing you need to do is fix one of them. No matter what the reason is, inactivity is not okay. It might be best to start by calling or writing a letter that's been late for a long time. It could be getting a journal or reading a book. It could be something as easy as turning off the TV or radio. We just need to find something worthwhile to do to make our lives better if they are a mess. At first, we might have to do it with a little doubt. There may be times when we have to do it even though we are scared, but our doubts and fears will go away when our unwavering determination to act shows. These first acts of faith will lead to results that will be the basis for building a new life. The results are not just a goal, they are the seeds of happiness and wealth in the future. We can be sure that every result, no matter how small, is another step toward a life full of success.